couldn't quite make it happen. Na'Vi, though, that was a different story. They were down 2-0 in the Na'Vi series, and they came back and reversed, swept them. Unfortunate for Na'Vi, they go down 0-4 in their pool. I believe they'll stay in the tournament, but in the worst placing in that bracket when we do put it together. But with Complexity and their recent win, though, Tony, that's a little stint of momentum that maybe they can carry into this FaZe series. And they'll have to do that with the series layout that we just witnessed. It all starts with Recharge, though, which you can see on screen.
This so important game number 1 in the best-of-5 series is going to set the tone for the rest of this series here. Complexity want to start off hot and with a big win, but they have a tough task in front of them. We're talking FaZe Clan.
Tall task indeed. Curious to see how FaZe Clan have been playing. We got to witness them yesterday, a crushing defeat against Optic to close the evening, but I guarantee they're back with a force, and they'll be back in this series. Recharge Strongholds to start it out.
Triton gets right over towards the back goal and taking down one, and that should be a double kill coming in out of Triton, putting FaZe Clan 3 down, and because of that, they're able to steal away a double cap after they're able to finish off B. Nade starts to fly, though. Triton already in the lines of sight of FaZe Clan.
Triton and Complexity, they said, nah, look at us. Look what we can do. There's a double out of Hysteria as he makes his way back to A. He'll control high ground here. You can see his teammates unfortunately dead on B, so FaZe Clan, they will get access to that section of the map. So no perimeter control for them to work with. Instead, bubu dubu will lock that down. They're going back to C for a B-C hold. And bubu coming in to support Bound here. Might have extended just a little too far though, right? Right into 2 opponents on Complexity.
Yeah, bubu dubu realized that Bound was in trouble by himself over toward the C side, so he tried to use that grapple to get into the action. Sadly, by the time he was able to get into C, Bound already died, and then he was hunted down shortly after.
And like you said, Tony, timing is everything. But unless you got Snip3down on your team, though, right? Because Snip3down comes in with the flank after bubu, and he's just shredding left and right. The man is not missing. That's 3 consecutive kills there. Bound coming in to pick up off the damage as well. And that'll give FaZe access to C, and Bound wasting no time getting to center map to control this.
Bound already trying to take Bravo to keep onto the double tap. We still see an early lead going in favor of Complexity, and they're able to clutch out that kill and get the reset onto Bravo, but Falcated going in for the challenge onto the A flat. Both players one shot, and Hysteria taking the challenge.
You can see them both inching their way closer to that doorway, wondering who's going to ice up, but this time Hysteria is the one to do it. And thanks to his win, they get access to A, and Triton with the camo can make plays. Look at him just bob out of the fight. Just barely evading FaZe there. He'll keep the camo in play, and look at him being a nuisance still. They got to respect him, and because of it, they can't get back to this hold.
Love the camo plays coming out of Triton. The sword does come into play. Snip3down able to take down not only Vetra, but the camouflage Triton. Those are pivotal kills coming out of Snip3down. That's what he brings to FaZe.
Bit of a slow start for FaZe overall, but one thing's for sure, Snip3down, he ain't playing slow. He's 9-5 on the board. He's definitely keeping FaZe in tow in this match. They've got control of the map now finally because of it. Val gonna continue to pepper him over on C. Looks like instead he'll get flanked. Nice little play at a Complexity to draw the attention there, but can they break out of this hold? You can see finally FaZe got themselves a bit of a perimeter to work with.
Falcated, bubu dubu, and Bound combining for 10 kills as a unit. Snip3down having 10 by himself at the moment. He is really slaying out here in Recharge. Bound putting the cross-map shots while guarding the bat ledge side of things, and that's going to make it hard for Complexity to be able to advance forward into Bravo. Falcated now going to take that information and then hunt him down. 3 down go Complexity, and now we're seeing FaZe in their early setup and really taking control here on Recharge.
Engines are revving up on the side of FaZe here. You can see things connecting. Foul will turn that into a double. He'll bounce back to elevator to stay up. Still getting tagged. Look at him live in this situation, though finally he gets taken out. Not sure what hit him, but that type of distraction gives FaZe openings, and the opening to control the entire map apparently too. Trip cap and lock. The pressure in B, thanks to Snip3down, they'll reconnect it. And he's going for more here too.
Great plays across the board by FaZe. It's a little bit easier to get a trip cap than this to hold on to one. Normally that team is able to spawn up and immediately play a base, but we saw FaZe Clan not only getting the slays, but also getting the return as well, and they're still dropping bodies on the feed, trying to take that battle over towards the bottom side of the map, but not being able to do so. And once again, Complexity going 2 down.
You can see how quickly this game is barreled out of control. Complexity led by, I believe, what, 50 to 60 points to start this, only for FaZe to get one bout of control. The momentum they gained off of it has given them 129 and counting here. They continue to hold the map, and I'm thinking Complexity maybe getting a little bit impatient, just trying to fly off their spawn, do damage, but getting melted for it. And if they don't get the advantage in trades here, they're not going to get the map back.
I said it once before, FaZe Clan are one of the hardest teams to gauge. Their floor is probably top 6, maybe top 8, but their ceiling is winning a championship. They can go toe-to-toe with some of the best in the game, including Cloud9, including Sentinels, including Optic. FaZe are right up there with them, and they're trying to prove it here up against Complexity.
I mean, personally, Tony, I'm just waiting to see what bubu can do with this shock rifle. Connect! Doesn't quite hit the headshot, but that's still a kill. 172 and counting. Complexity from dominance to destruction. They need to find a way to regain in this game, especially considering bubu's got the reticle trained on him, and he's not going to give up his life easily. Teammates spawn nearby, Bound getting aggressive. bubu line of fire to support from behind, but thankfully Complexity will fend them off. But for how long? They still don't have control here.
We do start to see slays go in favor of Complexity at the moment here. Another one drops, and the assist being earned by Hysteria working onto Alpha, and that's going to be a momentary trip cap coming out of Complexity. Simple plays coming in, but they're absolutely dominant, and that's going to be another multiple down. Now we're seeing Hysteria trying to hunt down this player. He knows C was starting. He's like, well, where did he go?
With a numbers deficit, maybe he decided to back off for a little bit, come back when you least expect it. That's Foul and Bound both picking up their pips. That'll give bubu access to B as well, so very quickly they'll take the map back. Complexity with a little stint of control, but it's not enough to give them the confidence they need to bounce back here. We'll need to see another big play.
Well, we do see another double cap going in favor of Complexity at the moment. We're going to see Snip3down Combat evolve that sword right over towards him as he's looking to make sure that C is not only cleared out, but they have the opportunity to advance over towards Alpha. There are 2 players from Complexity onto the A side of the map. Snip3down putting the cross-map shots and opening things up for Falcated to pick up one. FaZe Clan started to find some slays, but haven't found a base just yet, and Falcated just went down.
Right, the worry there is Snip3down Foul, only one's up in that situation. They can't really play off each other the moment Foul goes for the commitment. So you just got to have faith that he'll win his fight. Thankfully, bubu dubu going to come pick up the slack. And Snip3down, no hesitation, closing the distance here. He'll take 2.
Another double come on, Snip3down.
I mean, it was, but might want to regret the equipment use there, right? He thought he was being cheeky.
Snip3down's really been trying to make some plays here for FaZe and continuing to do so. That's going to be a third of 4 kill back-to-back double kills going in favor of Snip3down. Complexity are now 2 down, and a third one is trying to defend away C. They're holding on to the trip cap at the moment. 220 points in counting as FaZe are entering the end game of game number 1.
FaZe just locking the map down. You got Foul up above on the bat ledge. Snip3down still going ham here. Man's on a spree. Has 2 dead as well. They'll light him up, but Snip3down just looking for anything to keep Complexity off the hills. Falcated going to stay in B in the meantime here too with the shock rifle. At this point, Tony, I don't know what Complexity can do to bounce back.
Falcated and Snip3down are combined for 42 kills and 10 assists at the moment. Falcated, the secondary slayer on this team for this game right now, advancing forward onto the gold side of the map, holding down B, making sure nobody on Complexity is able to push forward, and that's going to be the 250-point mark being reached.
Yeah, a very strong game out of FaZe, that's undeniable. And it didn't start strong though, right? Complexity, they came out with some early pressure, early momentum. The moment FaZe kind of regained, grabbed their footing, was the moment that everything kind of fell apart for Complexity, and they couldn't quite find an opening anymore, right? Maybe there's a little bit of an impatience there, not quite finding the the opportunity to go up in slays. Maybe they're over challenging for those 1v1s and they're not quite pulling it out. Hard to say. But the story, at least being written 1-0 to start things, and you start to think you know, what's FaZe's objective in this series? We talked about it from the side of complexity, but FaZe, I mean, they want to dominate in this. It's not just about winning.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up. Complexity, when they had control, it almost like they were scrapping. It was almost like they were trying to scrape by. When FaZe got control, they held on to it for most of the game, and they just didn't let go.
Right.
And ultimately, there was moments where Complexity were able to bounce back, and it definitely showed some life. But when FaZe had that control, they held on it for a lot longer, and they definitely were a lot more dominant in that game. Number one, as we take a look at the stats, Snip3down, 22 kills, 8 assists, Falcated right behind them with 21 kills and 4 assists, 20 KDA coming out of the two of them, at least.
Yeah, I mean, we got a peek at both of them. I think Snip3down definitely stealing the show in that first game. A lot of our POV witnessing some of the big plays that he made. And it's just the timing of the flanks, right? Snip3down, I think something he said in the past is that he excels at shooting players who aren't looking at him, essentially. He doesn't miss when he finds that little opening when you're not expecting him. And you saw some of the flanks that he made, right, with bubu coming in, being aggressive. I think those are the big plays that FaZe can use to open things up. And hopefully that's a momentum they can carry going back up against a team like Optic or C9 later. Because like we said, their objective here, not just win, dominate this team, and then use that energy to get back into the ranks up into top 3.
Well, if Complexity are able to start off streets as hot as they start off Recharge and hold on to that control, maybe, just maybe, they can tie up the series here. However, FaZe Clan having the opportunity to really put the stronghold onto Complexity by going up 2-0 in the series, it's going to be Street Slayer. What do you want to see?
You got to see early control at a Complexity, right? Streets, especially Street Slayer, the way that the game tends to play, if you get that opening, that strong opening, you earn the shotgun. Around the slays, you can very easily lock down spawns, whether it's bottom C, subway, or like you said, sometimes open up PD. PD's a rough spot to spawn. You don't have too many options to break out of that section. You got 2 little doorways, so quite a nade trap. And I think if teams are aware of it, you can really cycle spawns in the game. And I think for Complexity to have any shot in this series, they need to showcase that confidence, that, I guess, ferocity early on in this game.
My thing, I wonder who's going to start off on that PD side of the map. Because to me, I love starting off on streets. I immediately go for the drop wall and then beeline it straight towards that Bulldog street. Sometimes I'll drop the drop wall early, make sure I throw a couple of denial grenades from that C subway towards Bulldog, and it's usually just easy access towards the Bulldog. And we talked about before, the amount of ammo that you get and how small streets is, you can really control the flow of the game if you get a hold of that Bulldog, and we're going to find out who does that best, FaZe or Complexity.
We'll see. I know Bound has got the strat down to a T for the drop wall and the shotgun. The way that he moves off the rip here, we'll see if he applies it. Got a couple Slayer stats on screen from the tournament so far, by the way, Tony. Relatively even across the board. And that's the thing with Complexity, though, is I'd expect them, the moment they get an advantage, to really showcase what they got here. They definitely are no slouch in this tournament.
And despite, no offense, but despite FaZe Clan facing harder competition, having spent most of their time in the pools, it seems like they're still doing good and still doing better as far as kills per minute, going up against the head-to-head with Complexity.
Right.
Hysteria able to get a hold of that Bulldog, puts it to work immediately, take down one, goes in for the double kill, able to get it off, and more importantly, stays alive. 3 out of 4 members hitting the black screen here for FaZe, and Hysteria immediately taking that center angle to get back into the action. That's the PD spawns I was talking about.
Right.
Vetra sitting towards Cafe, watching that angle, but bubu, dubu, and Snip3down are able to spawn out and to fight out of that PD spawn trap.
Hysteria will still pick up his kill, though. Man is 5-0 to start. This is exactly the start we said we needed to see at a Complexity. And we talked about where they would spawn, right? PD was the start of the map here, and we saw one of the fastest. I mean, we didn't get to witness it, but Triton picked up rockets within, I want to say, less than 10 seconds, just beeline to it. Shut down Bound because of it, and since we've just seen a cycle, there's Vetra with 2 on the feed, 12-5 in this game, and this is the momentum they need to keep up in Slayer Streets.
Love the recovery coming out of Complexity, on board with now Complexity's very own Vetra, nading over towards the B stairs, but they're coming for the driveway. Looks like the collapse gonna come in. All 4 members getting wiped out for FaZe, and Vetra gonna let them know about it.
He's got a bone to pick with Bound, apparently. I don't know, maybe it's something about Bound's playstyle, right? Because we see Formal do the same thing. A little bit of body disrespect, try to get in his mental. Bound, definitely one of the players that tends to have the highest highs, maybe the lowest lows too, right? He's a bit of a wild card. He's got a lot of energy behind his play. He likes to take risks. We'll see.
Shots coming in from Bound, trying to stay alive over towards the B stairs. Ends up earning himself an assist. Does snipe down, and the Stalker rifle in hand, making one shot. The second one's gonna fall. FaZe fan are now coming in, but Vetra has the Sentinel beat.
Just a bloodbath down center map, though. I think that's it for Rockets. In the meantime, MoNsTcR not going to waste any time trying to tag up two over on Cafe. You can see FaZe starting to slow this down, right? Got a cross set up from alley to A Stronghold, and using their numbers, their sight lines to just light things up and slow the game down for Complexity. It's a 7-kill lead, but if this keeps up, things could change very quickly.
7-kill lead in favor of Complexity, despite the fact that their normal leading Slayer hasn't been able to put a single kill on the board. MoNsTcR currently 0-4, but does have 5 assists to kind of make up for it a little bit. That's because the rest of the Complexity just stepping it up in the Slays department, and he's just earning every single assist. On board now with Falcated, 3 out of 4 members up for FaZe. They're pushing the B Street side. Bubu Dubu ends up finding one. And that's the opening they need to try to push through this B Street and try to break this setup that Complexity have on them.
The worry here is FaZe have been holding the top of the map, Tony. The longer they do that, the more they're going to spawn their opponents down in C, and you can see they're all stuck here because of it. They'll start to break out, though. Complexity going to try to pour their numbers out through driveway here. Bound coming up from behind, though. Maybe he can get a flank. There's one down. Shots into a second. He'll make it 2. Turn it into 3. Oh, there's the teammate. Bubu Dubu here to help out. Either way, FaZe have done their job, and that lead ain't so large anymore.
Who's Bubu Dubu helping? He ain't helping me. He stole the triple kill from Bound.
He had that.
I want to get hyped. That was his. That was Bubu Dubu. We're gonna have a talk after this.
Bubu taking the wrong kills, taking the wrong Dubus here. We'll see. Here he is. He's got the Sentinel beam. Close quarters. This thing is nasty, and now you can see why. MoNsTcR gonna get melted. He does have his 1 kill, but 7 deaths. And Bubu gonna keep adding that to the scoreboard here. As he gets kills, the Rockets spawn, and probably the worst point in the game for Complexity to lose their numbers.
And FaZe Clan finally taking the lead once again. They had fought back. They were down by almost double-digit kills, but FaZe are back in it. Bound having the Rockets in hand, only having 1 in the pod. Meanwhile, off the screen, Hysteria, the vet, taking down Bubu Dubu. Bound going in for the challenge onto Arcade. That's going to be 1. Challenging 2 more onto the B Street. Tries to buy enough time for Snip3down to make it into tires. Sadly, Bound goes down. Snip3down going to fall as well, and it's starting to snowball a bit from there.
I mean, they're trading blows, right? Complexity, of course, they started hot, so this is not a good look to have things tied up at this point. When it matters most. You can see the pressure that they're under here too, as they're going to try to double back to Arcade, but that's 2 dead together. Holding hands as they go down. They'll spawn back up together too. And you can see the free reign that FaZe have on the map to work with without their teammates to help.
And now at this point, MoNsTcR stat line is starting to catch up with Complexity. Bound. Good body shots coming back in. MoNsTcR needs to step it up right here, right now. We know the potential that this young man has. If they're going to beat FaZe, everybody needs to be able to come in on the stats department. I would not be surprised if MoNsTcR turns this around immediately. Already having 6 assists, but still 10 deaths on the board.
And Tony, see, this is the thing with body disrespect. It's a double-edged sword, right? If you're going to, bang Bound, expect him to do it back to you. And definitely don't do it to Snip3down, by the way. There's a storied history. Don't trash talk Snip3down. That is a big error in competitive Halo. And right now we're starting to see what happens when FaZe get it together. 40-34 here. Falcated just trying to hold his life down in Subway, but Vetra still doing what he... Oh, no, here he is! Again! Ooh. He found Vetra this time. Last time it was Triton. He's going to do it for each member of the team. Better watch yourself.
A little bit of respect crouching coming in out of Bound. Falcated going all the way down to 1 shot. Going to try to make his way onto the B stairs side. Meanwhile, off the screen, Hysteria and try and go down. FaZe do have numbers, so they're going to look to get aggressive. Falcated taking down yet another one in Vetra, and that's 46 kills in counting for FaZe. They're 4 kills away from going up 2-0 in the series.
Tony, rewind the clock for a second. How did this game start? Well, it was like 12-3 or 4 to start the game. Complexity with so much aggression off the rip, but things slowed down to a crawl, and FaZe, they sped up, making 48 with a 10-kill advantage. All of a sudden, it's out of the running for Complexity game 2.
Falcated already having sights on somebody in the arcade side. The shots go in, and so does the information. Bubu Dubu knowing exactly where that player is, but it looks like Vetra's able to answer. Snipe down going for the challenge onto the C side, able to get the double kill, and that's gonna be it. FaZe Clan going up 50-40 and going up 2-0 in the series.
Right between the palm trees there, about to send him on vacay or something, Tony. I don't know. That's 2-0, like you said. We got one more game in this series for FaZe to close this out strong and solidify their placement as second in the pool. The best they could hope for right now, with as well as Optic have been playing with their 4-0. But of course, FaZe going out with that gives them a better placement in the bracket going forward. And maybe an opportunity for a little rematch with Optic, right? An unfortunate way to end our Friday. FaZe, they're punching higher. They want Cloud9, they want Sentinels, anybody they can take on. And I think this dominant performance we're seeing is a good indication of their potential going forward.
Yeah, I love the fact to see seeing FaZe play so well, but I don't want to get confused, you know. Complexity, they aren't Optic. Complexity aren't Cloud9. I love me some Complexity, but there's levels to this.
Exactly, and that's why you want to see them come out dominant. If their expectation is to come back and beat a team like Optic or a team like Cloud9, you can't struggle against Complexity. On the other side of the coin, Complexity, they're no slouch either, right? They've had some great moments today, especially in their series against Na'Vi, reversing the bracket there, or reverse sweeping. So maybe they'll reverse sweep again. I don't know. They'll have to work a little harder this time, and you can see from the stats here, you know, not to point out anyone specific, but maybe some players need to work a little harder in that next game than others, Tony.
Yeah, clearly Hysteria. 15 kills in a Slayer, that's not gonna be enough.
Unacceptable.
The leading Slayer in the whole lobby, that's not minimum 26 kills. I know we're getting there. Hysteria, come on now.
That's fair. Yeah, we're pointing them out, understandably so. But either way, I mean, ideally, you know, you want to see those even stats. You want to see if you don't have a lot of slays, you got a ton of assists. I think MoNsTcR did have the most assists, at least on his team. But when it comes to Aquarius CTF, they're going to have to outslay to get advantages for the flag. And Tony, some of the strategies, like we said, that we've seen in Aqua CTF a lot more recently is just the overextension, right? Sending one player to back base, drawing attention, giving that team an opportunity to regain the map while they're looking back at you. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. And even though I'm a fan of overextending over towards the P side, getting behind enemy lines,
there's a risk to it.
I still love the fundamental hold down that car side, make sure you have somebody in that utility, force the enemy team to spawn fridge, so leave that open, and then rotate back towards your team as you either run it through mid, over towards car, or even a safer route, utility towards the car side of the map. I'm still a fan of the fundamentals, but there's no doubt that having somebody overextend, if you don't have that complete control, can be really strong here on Aquarius. And we're going to see what team elects to do what. At the end of the day, it's really about adapting. No matter strong side, weak side, no matter what, make sure that you slay out and get those flag pulls.
Tony, well said. I think for the sake of Complexity and their opportunity to do anything in this series, it's about adaptation. Can Complexity adapt to the pressure they just received from FaZe, or will FaZe just shut them out? Will they just roll them over? We'll only find out here. Aqua CTF.
Both of these teams going to be fighting early, not only for that car side control that we mentioned at the beginning of the series, but also on top of that, make sure that they get the camouflage. It is so powerful in this game, and one thing that's powerful as well is those dynamo grenades.
100%. Something we've seen twice now is the speed that Complexity have off their opening strats. They seem to get right to the power-ups, power weapons immediately. Triton with the camo. We saw Vetra, the dynamos earlier as well, so using that to just hammer a back base. There's a sticky end, make it 2. It's not enough to stay alive, but it's enough to get a flag out the base.
Yeah, that was the final kill. That was a full squad wipe going in favor of Complexity. And you're seeing, again, somebody on utility. You're seeing the opposing spawn over towards Fridge. You see how powerful that car side control is, but they weren't able to catch the flag. That flag will be stopped short. Triton going to be able to relay it in, and the first flag tap going in favor of Complexity. Here come FaZe.
Okay, not to say it's a little bit of a deja vu with the Streets game, but this is the strong start that you want to see for Complexity. Can they maintain the strong start for the rest of the game? Nice little wiggles we saw there in that gunfight, though. Snipe down. Comes out with a trade. Bubu Dubu going to look to pick up the slack here. At least he's got damage for Bound for the easy kill. Bubu takes it, though. Foul with a trade too. This should give FaZe an opportunity this time.
Bubu Dubu recognizing Falcon is by himself over toward the base, so immediately grinds forward, ends up getting the bait and switch. That's not only going to be a kill, but an early pull coming in out of Bubu Dubu. Ends up dying, but that flag is relayed through and running all the way towards the car side as FaZe Clan are getting slays on the board.
Thankfully for Bubu, as he died, he tosses the flag right to utility doors and made it as easy as possible for FaZe to get away with that flag planted in. It's a tie game. Only 2 minutes on the board here, Tony. We got a camo popping up too.
Snip3down not able to get the kill with the heat wave, so that heat wave should be in the hands of Complexity here. On top of that, the camouflage for MoNsTcR. Getting right toward the utility side. 2 quickly go down, make that 3 down. The final player alive ends up getting perfect kill, and that should be a pull coming from Complexity, and MoNsTcR already spotting at least one spawner. FaZe already extending across the map.
Right, you can see MoNsTcR reading the situation. He knows where to expect him. He'll call it out to Hysteria, though unfortunately Hysteria cannot turn the kill. Triton will do justice over in utility. It's just not quite enough. FaZe still with a numbers advantage. Vetra will drop top mid. This is going to give FaZe, you'd think, access to flag, but as we say it, apparently MoNsTcR's been running one of his own, Tony. Complexity, they've got a shot for this unless FaZe can pull the flag away from them.
Yeah, the flagpole came early from Complexity, and FaZe were forced to overextend across the map, which they did so well, but now it's in Complexity able to not only slay out, but the return comes in. That's a 2-1 lead coming out of Complexity. Ain't nothing complex about that.
No, for sure. I mean, there's a little bit of complexity behind the way he executed that flag plant, though, right? The juggle into perfect slide to put it in with no wasted time. And no wasted time getting back on the map here for FaZe, though. Last thing they want is another pull. They'll take 2 kills. Hysteria backs up the Dynamos. You see the power of them, though, as he almost gets a double up top car. At the very least, he's got info.
Yeah, 1 Dynamo grenade is strong enough, but 2 almost seems unstoppable. So that was a nice kill come out of Hysteria. Not even able to, didn't have to shoot his gun 1 time. Now, challenging a player, definitely shooting on this one. Bait and switch coming Complexity. Hysteria recognized that, so now he's changing his focus onto the courtyard player. This is going to be yet another pull coming out of Complexity. They are a damn strong Aquarius team, but as I say that, they did go 3 down.
They did lose their numbers. Coordination out of Complexity apparent, though. They've been locking it down. Hysteria last up, he's just trying to slow down FaZe, ensure they don't get away for free with that camo. Hopefully his spawning teammates can deal with it. The spawning teammates got a double dilemma, though, because Falcated going to be pulling that flag through utility. Drop it behind for a teammate, tag up 1 bottom mid. Fal doing it all here. That's a very difficult slide to hit, by the way, Tony. He almost perfectly landed that. Didn't quite give him the kill, though.
Snip3down once again able to get the heat wave, and this time 3 out of 4 members going down for Complexity. FaZe needs to take advantage of this. Heat wave in, switches to the VR, but luckily able to get the kill, and that flag is already across the map. Snip3down is just applying pressure here towards utility, but just like that, we are tied up at 2 apiece, and Bound immediately going for peak control.
Complexity coming with a flag in FaZe. They always got an answer. But if things continue at this rate, Complexity might be able to hold on to momentum. As I say it, though, that's the whole team dead. That's going to be spawners up in Fridge. FaZe, they've got free reign. You already got a player up on top mid to cut them off through pink. It could not be a better situation for FaZe, and this might be a guaranteed cap because of it. We'll see Triton with the kill to slow him down. Just one last link for Fal to take this flag. Nades coming in. They're going to try to tag him up, but Fal doesn't care. He'll plant it in. That's a lead for FaZe in Game 3. Complexity, their final chance in this series if they don't ice up.
FaZe are so damn good. Able to cap that flag, and then after capping it, pushing towards mid-map control, getting another round of slays, and then they literally made that look so easy. Back-to-back caps going in favor of FaZe, but it looks like MoNsTcR able to take down Bound. MoNsTcR now going to try to stay alive over toward the back pole, but he will be hunted down by Falcated. FaZe have successfully cleared out their base, and now they're looking to grind forward. Oh, there was one more.
Not fully, And that's kind of the tricky scenario here, right? Is you commit your resources to run that flag. You got to make sure you're ready to get the defense, so there is no retaliation, no counter cap. And it looks like FaZe have finally done that. Bubu looking for another victim. He'll take it. There's a nice little reversal. Got the thrust to work with here too, so he's made it to utility. Teammates opposite side as well. We'll see what he can do.
bubu gonna double back for that mid-map control. On top of that, should be able to get himself some dynamo grenades as well. Triton challenging toward the dinos, not able to take down bubu. He's a tough kill. Hysteria tries to finish him with a couple of frags, but ends up catching some dynamo grenades right back at him. Vetra now has to try to clear out the space. Complexity needs to be careful. FaZe might be poised to take another flagpole if they're able to get these slays.
Complexity forced to play slow here. You can just see the pressure MoNsTcR's receiving. Thankfully, he's got a teammate for a little double melee there. That'll delete Bound. But the cross still coming in from top mid, and if they don't get back to center map, it's going to be very difficult to break out of the base. MoNsTcR, can he take the fight? He cannot. And as he drops, so do two others on Complexity. Last one up, Vetra can't get the kill on bubu. What a snap. Once again with the team dead, that's a flag out, Tony. Yeah. And they might not be able to keep up.
A clean round of frags leads to another pull coming out of FaZe Clan. Triton ends up going down here. Bubu just watching anybody trying to overextend, and nobody in position to stop Falcated from punching it in. A 4-2 lead in favor of FaZe. Luckily for Complexity, there's still over 4 minutes on the clock. Unlucky for Complexity, they're still playing FaZe.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty. The longer this goes, the larger the deficit, it seems. They've got 4 minutes to work with. It's not quite done, but it will be if they die in quick succession like they've been doing, right? They've been dying together, which is the rough scenario here. You got Hysteria now down again. Triton will do his best in a little 1v1 here, but decides it's better to get away, right? Just stay alive and milk this situation. Come back with a kill on Bound, but hopefully that gives Complexity some vantage points here.
Love the slays come out of bubu with Snip3down. 19 kills apiece. Complexity losing 3 out of 4 of their teammates. Hysteria, the vet, the final player to fall here, and Complexity are on the ropes. One more cap for FaZe, and not only are they taking this game, but they're also taking the series. A Hail Mary coming out of Bound. Another 3 down as Falcated making use of the sidekick, and this might be it. This might just be another pull. Complexity needs to find some defense.
I mean, defense is all they've been doing for the last like 3-4 minutes, unfortunately, Tony. They get about halfway through the map, but they can't quite get to the flag here. Bubu shutting them down with a sidekick. Comes back for the Dynamos. I don't know what happened to that. Maybe he shot it. I think he shot it. Because the electricity is just coming off of it before Bubu could get to it. Now we got MoNsTcR, who's picked up the second Dynamo. Might tag up his teammate with it. But at the very least, they got the double team action here. The flag out as well, so Complexity, with the time they got left, if they can keep this flag in play, I'm a believer, Tony.
4-2 lead still in favor of FaZe. A little less than 3 minutes on the clock, and luckily you're a believer because as of right now, I mean,
if they can keep the flag in play,
it's gonna be tough here. Bound makes his way towards mid-map. We will see a return as a FaZe fan. I mean, they're only worried about making sure their base is clear, going in for that mid-map control, and they can count on a clean round of slays. They don't have to overextend for anything. They can just play good fundamentals, and eventually either this flag cap will come to them, or time will simply drain down.
Or you can just be Bound and do Bound things, right? Fly straight into util and shoot 3 players at once.
Those are Bound things?
Those are Bound things for sure. Just get aggressive, right? Go for the challenge, be confident. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes, if anything, it just gives your teammate an opening for an easy cleanup, just like we got with bubu. Assuming he can win this little ring around the rosy here. He's being kind of milked. There we go. And 1 minute 48 to make any sort of impact for Complexity. The time very quickly ticking here, Tony. We got to see something.
Trying momentarily playing keep away with his life right there. Dubu having a very tough time finding, but eventually he will fall. And also eventually Hysteria able to get away with the camouflage and the camo. If they're gonna pull off a cap, it's definitely gonna be on the backs of this combination right there. And if they're able to cap this flag with the next, 10 or 15 seconds, it's still doable. We still have sudden death rules coming in. Don't count Complexity out just yet.
They're gonna have to touch, I mean, Hysteria's dead, so good luck touching that flag, but in order to keep it in play, they need to be on top of it, and unfortunately nobody in position to do anything. Because of it, we only got 1 minute left on the board to make an impact, and Vetra, getting the kill is nice, but dying ain't gonna get you where you need to be. And FaZe just looking to shut them out, their hopes and dreams in this pool.
Now I'm really worried about Complexity. At this point, they just need to start sending at least one player overextending because they need to start pulling every flag possible. Time is not on their side. MoNsTcR trying to stay alive toward the bottom piece side of the map to quickly go down for Complexity, and there's no way they're going to be able to cap either of these flags if they can't stay alive.
I mean, that's Halo Infinite in a nutshell. Numbers advantage. Don't quite have the tools to skate out of a fight. Don't spawn with the thrust. Can't just backpedal. You will be exposed and deleted. Hysteria will delete one of his own, but in the last 15 seconds in the game, that's all he can hope for is a nice little 1v1 kill. FaZe, they'll come out on top, not only in this game, but a 3-0 in the series. Tony, what a dominant close.
I wish I could say I'm surprised. I really wish, but come on now. We're talking about FaZe Clan. We're talking about Falcated, bubu, dubu, Snip3down, and Bound. These guys are going for championships. That's going to be a 3-0 sweep.
Yep.
Sadly, Complexity will have to play out the rest of the tournament, most likely in the lower bracket there.
Seems so. I'm sure we'll get a recount maybe on the pool to see how things went, but just off the top of my head, right, we would have had first place, Optic, 4-0. FaZe, I believe, just punched their ticket straight to second. Yep. Fnatic did beat Complexity as well, but they lost 2. They'd be third place in the pool. Complexity going to come out fourth, and then fifth place, unfortunately for Na'Vi, would be 0-4 in their performance. They could not win a game in lowest placement in that championship bracket once we get there. But here it is, the stats read 'em and weep. FaZe Clan going up with a strong 3-0 to close their pool's performance and get right into the bracket confidently.
Well, can we at least talk about how Complexity were in these games? You know, for example, in the beginning of Recharge, they started off amazing. Same thing with Streaks. They had a 12-4 run. Yeah. And then even going into Capture the Flag on Aquarius, they were able to not only get those powers and power weapons, but they capped the first flag on FaZe. Complexity have had these hot starts, even against the likes of FaZe. They just weren't able to put a complete game together.
You're right, Tony. They couldn't quite put it together. It almost seemed like Complexity kind of, came in with a lot of energy, and FaZe, almost allowed it, so to speak, and then sort of just downloaded and adapted per game on like a per game basis, right? They come in with opening kills, opening advantage, but the moment FaZe get their footing, they're just unstoppable, and it's something that we talked about on the desk as well. Can they gain that type of footing, that type of coordination against the big teams, the ones that matter most, right? C9, Optic, we didn't see it yesterday.